Well, hey, it's Jamie. That's me here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to more reviews. Okay, we got to do some reviews on Ready to Love, Belle Collective, Married to Medicine, as well as Real Housewives of Atlanta. But let's go ahead and get started with Ready to Love. Okay, so on last week we had a few guys that were up to be eliminated. I believe it was LJ, you had Justice, and then you had Zoe. All right, so they were the three that was up for elimination. But again, Tommy decided he was going to show some grace and told the people, listen, you ain't got to worry about it. Nobody's going to be eliminated at this particular time. Okay. Tommy did meet with all of the guys and that were actually up for elimination just to share with him some of the current concerns that the ladies had. All right. So he wants them to open up more, whereas Justice doesn't just need to open up, but he also needs to give a little if he wants to get a little. Period. And I'm like, why are we giving these a chance? Like, why we keep giving these people like Justice another chance? But anyway, girl, let's go ahead and go on. Okay. So a few people got a chance to hang out. They did go karting or whatever. Zoe was one of those guys that hung out, all right, and primarily the people that went to hang out were the guys that were on the chopping block. So they were still on the chopping block. They just were going to stay longer, but giving them time to redeem themselves. And based on those three, one of the three would have ended up going home, right? Well, Zoe came. He's ready to do the go-kart, and you could tell that he is a person that enjoys competition. He likes that. And he actually, in my opinion, was doing a bit much to me. Okay. So let's see. I think her name is Kaden, something like that. But anyway, Miss K waited. She was waiting on a call from Justice. So she had a conversation with him. She brought Trinika over so she could too be a part of this conversation. So she's bringing up the fact that like, yo, I reached out to you. You ain't hit me back. He said, I did call you back. She said, yeah, but I called you right back. And then you never responded back to me. Like you never hit me back up. And he said, oh, well, I probably didn't save your number after our first conversation. Like real jerkish about it. I don't know why they feel the need to continue to keep this man around. Okay, so anyway, right? So Miss K decides to go into her receipt book, right? So she pull up her records and she wanted to pretty much, identify certain things, okay, show her proof or whatever, and to show him his lack of interest in her. So he giving her pushback without even listening to her. And I said, for me, I kind of started getting confused in there because I was a little like, I don't even understand what the big issue is for real, for real. Why are we even arguing with this man about him not calling you back or reaching back out to you or anything? Like, why are we doing this? Like, just understand that he ain't that NIGGA, and then let's just move on. Like, let's not waste our time when it comes to this. Like, why are we going back? You ain't called me. I mean, I did call you. No, you did. You did call me. I had called you, but you didn't call me back. Like, girl, y'all too grown to be playing these type of games to even show him any type of proof. It's just time to move on. Okay. So the problem was that he hasn't called. So I talked about that, how I got lost. Okay. I was glad the conversation was over initially. I didn't understand him wanting to get a hug from her, which was stupid. And it was making me think, you know what? You're a type of man that enjoys toxic love. You like to fight. You like to bicker, and then you like to put it on your woman. Okay, put that DICK, put that pickle on her, whatever you're gonna do, and then be back to where you started. But then you really ain't giving nothing in the end. You want women to start out and continue to settle for the bare minimum. Like you can't even take them out to eat. Oh Lord, because I'm like, how many more free dates you gonna be able to really do before she probably gonna want to go? And then if y'all go out to eat, I guess if you ain't trying to see her like that, like I said the last time, like I mean, I guess she could buy her meal, you could buy your meal. But anyway, girl, ain't nobody got time for Justice. And just the fact that I'm over here trying to make it make sense for myself lets me know that he don't need to be there because it shouldn't take all of this mentally trying to understand a person. Girl, no ma'am. So anyway, he gonna sit up there talking about, even though Kay said she was over, he's talking so she don't think she over it. She thinks that she really likes him or whatever because a woman that gets that angry with you really likes you. And it said, I'm just like, you just like playing games. That's your motherfucking problem. But let's move on, okay? Because Sheree's over there having a conversation with Zoe. Okay. And she says that she expected Zoe to reach out after the white party. I guess he showed some type of interest. So she expected him to do a bit more. And he didn't really. Zoe just kind of felt like, well, I don't even know if I'm really your type. I expect you to do something too. Like, you want me to run up behind you, but are you even interested in me? Like, do you really see something with us? Right. So Zoe and Sharice ended up having a disagreement. Okay. After that, they ended up, going back and forth, having some words or whatever. It led to him telling her that she was fake as hell. And I'm with Zoe, honestly. Sharice is fake as hell. Like, it's just what it like. Sharice, you do be giving off fake vibes. You do be giving off overly bougie. And girl, and then you gonna sit up here and tell that last man, Mike, on last week talking about, or a week before last, she said something about that man being the age that he's at and having kids. And she says she called him something. I think she said it was a red flag or something, and he like, okay, you being the age that you at and you ain't got no kids is a red flag too. Like, what are you talking about? So I mean, she can get fly with her mouth, right? So I personally felt like Zoe wasn't lying. Like, girl, you is fake as hell. But at the same time, Zoe, I did feel like you kind of got a bit aggressive. Like, I understand that you frustrated, and then you gonna sit up here and tell this lady that's just how I talk. Cause she like, who are you talking to? And why are you talking to me like this? That's just how I talk. I'm just talking. No, it's not. Because when you talk to Miss Kaden or whatever, you made sure to watch that tone when you had a conversation with her. But with Sharice, you ended up getting loud because you was mad for whatever reason. And I don't really think that was cool, even if you do feel like she's fake. I feel like you could have told her that and not got loud with her the way that you did. But Sharice, I also noticed how you tried to play it up at the same time. Like, oh my God, he said this and he said that. And he should not be here anymore because you don't talk to me like that. You don't do this and do that. As if you didn't walk off, Sharice, and then turn around and get back in his face and say whatever it was that you were saying. So, I mean, girl, it's really giving neither one of y'all was for real, right? In my opinion. But again, as I said earlier, I feel like, yeah, she fake. I agree with him on that. But at the same time, he ain't have to go there with that lady. But let's keep going. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation, okay? Sharice now wants him removed from the process. Zoe changes his tone, as I mentioned, when he talked to Kaden, which confirms, in my opinion, that he was too damn loud when it came to Sharice. Okay. Meanwhile, you got Shakira. Shakira over there having a conversation with Tommy, and she's talking to him about how the ladies are having conversations about what's happening in her life or what has happened in her life, her trauma. They've been having conversations in her face and behind her back. Okay, so she's having an issue with that. She brings that to Tommy, and Tommy is just feeling like, listen, we shouldn't be doing this. Like, that's not cool. We don't, I'm gonna have a conversation with the ladies, but I'm gonna give you the rest of the evening off. Okay, so you don't have to show up later on tonight when we link up, but I'm gonna get them together for sure. Right. So let's move on. All right. The ladies come together. They have a conversation with Tommy. Tommy, they pretty much talk to Tommy, but before we get into that, Tommy made sure to let them know, listen, what happens in this ladies' lounge is what stays in this ladies' lounge. I don't need y'all taking this information and running around sharing it with other people. Like, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? And Kaden kind of automatically assumed that it had something to do with her, because I think he did mention Shakira's name and how she's going to take the rest of the afternoon off. And she knew that Shakira pretty much had an issue with her the last time they were at the table, and she kind of told some things to Mike or whatever. So Kaden is kind of like, well, that's kind of messed up. All right. You know what I'm saying? You want us to be open and honest or whatever like that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But then now all of a sudden, when it comes to her traumatic situation, you want us to be quiet. Oh, okay. I mean, it's her claim to fame anyway. She can't have a conversation without kind of alluding to it, so we can't bring it up. Oh, okay, then no, you can't, girl. It's her personal business, for real, for real. She should be able to tell her story, like, at the end of the day, because it's not yours for you to tell. That's just what I think. Okay, whether I like how she moving or not. Anyway, so the ladies come together with Tommy. We talked about that. Sharice tells everyone how Zoe went off on her. I personally felt like she overhyped it amongst the ladies about how he went off to me. Okay, girl. It's like, yeah, girl, he got loud. Okay. Then you turned around and got loud right back with him. But at the same time, I kind of felt the way about Kaden kind of like having his back so much, because she also did that with Mike. And I just feel like, is it really that you're having the back of the men, or is it that you really don't like Sharice? That's what it's giving. You can't stand Sharice, okay? And her entitlement that she be having going on. And that's why you was on her head. You was telling her pretty much, you can't sit up here and poke the bear, do whatever it is you're going to do, and then try to sit up here and hide your hands. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's right in this situation, okay? So there's that. Ladies had a bit of a disagreement, okay? What else? At the end of the day, it came down to the eliminations. I believe who was on the table was Justice, because he was also a part of the conversation as to, what people like or what they don't like. And who else was also a part of that conversation was Zoe. So when it came down to it, I think Trinika met with Justice, and she feels like she understands him better and she gets him and all this other stuff. I don't know, Trinika. I don't know, Trinika. Really? You really think that you understand him better than some of the other ladies? I want to see how this interaction is going to go between you and him. Or is it that you see him as a challenge and you're hoping that he picks you? Like, do you see him as a challenge that you're trying to tame? That's why you get him, because you're used to dealing with guys like him. That's not the purpose of you being on this show. You should have came on this show not to deal with similar guys that you've dealt with in your past, which is the reason why you ain't got nobody now. You know what I'm saying? But okay, then Trinica girl, whatever. She said I met with Justice for some odd reason. The ladies decided they was gonna keep him. And what's crazy is that it sounded like they was gonna keep him anyway because they just had it. Like that's just what it was gonna be anyway. They was gonna keep him, even if Zoe didn't show up. I mean, even if Zoe did show up, or maybe they filmed him at two different times and Zoe didn't show up, so they made the decision to eliminate Zoe. Then had to sit down with Justice only to tell him he gets to stay by default. I don't know, girl, but he didn't show up. Zoe didn't show up to sit out and link up with Brandy. Brandy called the phone. The man didn't answer. I feel like that was rude. I feel like that was disrespectful. And I feel like you showed yourself a lot. Number one, you was doing too much when it came to the competition. You were being very aggressive with the ladies just as a whole. Like that's your demeanor. That's what you give off. And honestly, yo, it should have been a red flag the last time you felt as though you were forced to propose to a woman because that's something she wanted. That's not what you wanted. Then you turned around and you embarrassed her the very next day and asked for the ring back. We should have knew that you wasn't SHI nor none of the T at that point. Okay, you really should have went home. Justice, your ass is next. I don't want to see nobody else going home before Justice takes his ass home. Because in all honesty, Ready to Love, y'all out here wasting these women's time for the sake of entertainment on this motherfucking show. If you ask me, so he needs to be the next to go because he's not seeking anything. And at this point, as far as I'm concerned, anything that he does give us, is going to be him faking so that he can stay on the show much longer, but not really developing any form of a genuine connection with anybody. So y'all need to start wasting the people's views and the people's time. Okay, get that together. But that's really all that I got for Ready to Love, girl. Let me go ahead and move on to some other foolishness. Y'all go ahead and hop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts about Ready to Love. Belle Collective. Let's get into it, girl. Definitely want to talk about this. Belle Collective, in my opinion, the ladies are giving. Actually, the ladies are giving. And something that I really want to do while I'm thinking about it at this particular time, and I should have had it loaded up. There were some tweets that happened between Tambra and Letitia the other day, girl. All right. So let me see if I can add those. Sorry for the echo. Let me see if I can add those to my stream so that I'll be able to discuss these with y'all, because I just thought they were a bit interesting. Now they may be a bit out of order, you know what I'm saying, because I didn't prepare how I needed to, girl, but it is going to be a O to the K. All right. But I really just wanted to bring this to y'all because I just thought, I'm not really feeling Letitia this season. That's just me. I think she's a beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. In my opinion, I think Letitia's very beautiful. But I don't know if she's been dealing with stuff with Glenn, which has a lot to do with how she's showing up on the show. But I'm not liking it. And it's definitely giving I'm unhappy at home in my marriage or whatever. I know these other ladies that I like our clique. I don't really want no other new ladies to be added. And Miss Sophia, girl, you a whole fool, but we're gonna get on you too in just a second. Okay. So let's go ahead and start this out real quick. Okay. Let me make myself a note before I move on so I can remember to talk about this. All right, let me make that right there so I can go. I gotta make sure I remember to show y'all these tweets, okay? So anyway, let's go ahead and let's go back up to the top. All right, so Tisha takes Marie to get her cootie twa steamed, okay? And I just feel a way about it a little bit because I'm like, you know what I don't like? And I feel like a lot of people do this in their friendships. When they friends like them, they feel the need to show up for them like even more. And I don't get that. I don't like, I don't feel like, I understand Tisha probably wanted to do something nice for Marie, but Marie is a person, in my opinion, that constantly shows her lack of consideration for other individuals. So how is it that she can ruin your event, show up to your house or to your office, tell you she's not going to attend any more of your events, not for the sake of your business, but more so for the sake of herself, still not taking you in consideration, thinking about herself, and then you turn around and you want to cater to her by getting her cootie twa steamed? If anything, she should have been getting your cootie twa steamed because of what you're going through with your husband right now. Like, I mean, I guess, girl, but that's just, different friendships, different stuff. So Marie talks about her birthday party because she wants to have a rebirth or whatever. She's been through a lot of stuff. And then she talked about everything that was designed to take her out. It didn't. And I said, girl, whatever excuse you need, do your thing. So Tisha talks about Glenn trying to get her back. Then she flips the conversation back over to Marie. So Marie talks about her ex-husband being a serial cheater and says that he was linking up with different types of call girls all across the United States. And I said, oh wow, and you still about to go get him a Rolex? Girl, if he linking up with call girls around the Americas, honey, that man has enough money to go and get his own Rolex. Trust and believe. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going. So Tisha, I said, Tisha, you're giving, I want to be the Nene, not Tisha, but Marie, you're giving, I want to be the Nene of this show. It was something you said in the confessional that I cannot remember what you said, but I had to, make a note of that particular thing. But when I started looking at you with the blonde hair and how you be giving off these diva ass antics, you definitely want to be the Nene of that show. That's why you got your hair as blonde as you could possibly get it, girl. We see you, ma'am. Let's keep going. So Tambra and Damon, they talking about having kids. All options at this time are on the table because she's had so many surgeries. She has scar tissue, right? And because of that scar tissue, it can prevent her, or shall I say, I won't say prevent her from getting pregnant, but it can affect her pregnancies, is what I believe the doctor said. Now, Damon does tell Tambra family when it comes to doing things right and having a family, he's gonna do it right, which means that he's gonna want to marry her first. And I don't know, Damon, I would want to believe that about you, but at the same time, I kind of feel like you just telling these people whatever it is that they want to hear, but we'll see. All right. But I will say I did like the vibe between Tambra parents and him. I love the fact that Damon has been in her life since they were in high school or whatever. So he is already ingrained into the family. He knew her grandmother before she passed. Like I when I saw this, I liked it so much. And I said, you know what? I really, really hope that he's not on no FS. I pray he's not on no FS because he seems like outside of the FS, he might be a decent guy. We don't know a whole lot about him, so I can only go off of what we're seeing. It seemed like he might be decent, but we just gonna have to wait and see because now you don't introduce this to the show, Tambra, and it's gonna be more people gonna be diving into when it comes to your relationship, honestly. And I hope that it does work out for you guys, ultimately. But I am glad that you got more of a storyline though than what you had last year. So for the people that wasn't tuned in to you, now they looking into you now like, oh, Tambra, what's going on over here? So I am glad of that for you. But it sucks that it's more so about your relationship, girl. But we'll see, girl. Good luck. Let's keep going. Essie and Marie. So Essie tells Marie she's sitting down with Latrice, or at least she sat down with Latrice, okay? And how Latrice actually owned what it is that she did to Marie. And Marie was kind of shocked. First of all, why you sit up here meeting up with somebody I don't with? That's number one. And number two, hold on, wait. You mean to tell me that Miss Girl actually admitted to the bullshit? What? Oh, wow. I appreciate that. Okay. But Marie, Essie also told her, listen, I'm going to invite her to the party as well, or at least I invited her. And because Marie is in such a better place right now, she's doing better health wise. She's like, it's whatever, girl. Like, yeah, she can come. I'm not even for the good bring her. Okay. Because I got to show everybody in their face how good I'm doing. So it's whatever. Bring her on, which is super interesting because you just sat down with Tisha and told her you're not coming to no more of her events because of Treese, but then, and because of yourself. You know what I'm saying? But then you turn around and you invite this lady to your event. Do what you want to do, ma'am. So Marie is doing better health-wise and says that she wants to move forward in all areas. But then she turns around, even though she wants to move forward in all areas, she turns around and she ended up bringing up that baby daddy or whatever and talking about how he's trying to help her find some other clinics or something like that, locations or something. And I said, girl, I thought you was moving on. You really ain't trying to let that man go, and you know it. But let's go ahead and move on. Let's get to Tambra and Akeisha. All right. So Akeisha invited all the girls to the birthday party. Not a single person showed up, including Tambra. Okay. Tambra said she didn't show up because she didn't have an address. And I felt like, you wasn't for to go anyway, because that's how you is, girl. You wasn't for to go. I do feel like Tambra is a genuine person and she really would have shown up. But I also feel like if you really wanted to go, you would have hit her up and said, girl, it ain't even no address out here, girl. I don't know where I'm going. You feel what I'm saying? So you wasn't trying to go, period. Okay. And I'm like, also, if that is the truth, Akeisha, who sends out damn invitations with no address? I hope you didn't do that. And I hope you wasn't on some extra exclusive. If you want to go, you got to hit me up. Girl, I just ain't no weird, girl. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay. So Akeisha tells Tambra about Tisha trying to get information out of her about Damon and Tambra. And Akeisha was not lying. Okay. That is exactly what happened. Akeisha says that she doesn't know if Tisha was trying to make this seem as though it's something that's happening right now, like because she knows that because Tisha has a friend named Tysha that Damon is familiar with, and they might know each other. Not sure how long, not sure if this is something that's ongoing, if they just have a friendship or what the hell is going on. That's pretty much what Akeisha was saying. Akeisha wasn't saying that this is something that's happening right now. She was just like, listen, I don't really know what Tisha was getting at, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware. Okay. Period. That's all Akeisha was doing. Girl, I don't like how y'all try to sit out here and play my girl Akeisha for real. Like, I really don't like how y'all try to play her. But anyway, so Tisha says that she does know this woman. Okay. Tisha says that she knows this woman, and that this woman, what she says, Tisha says she knows a woman that knows him, and she doesn't know if this is someone that she knows now or not. Okay, so cool. That's what Akeisha told Timber. All right. Now Timber has talked to Tisha and never said anything about it. Okay. So she says, when I had a conversation with Tisha not too long ago, Tisha never mentioned this to me at all. But then Timber goes and have a conversation with Tisha later on, talk about, so when I mentioned it, when I talked to Akeisha, I told Akeisha that you never mentioned it, so it must not be that important. Girl, you just don't want to create no mess. Girl, it was important enough for her to go and have a conversation with other people instead of coming to you directly. Why would she have a conversation with this lady that's brand new to the show and not come to you? Okay? Girl, she was being very much so messy. Very much so. Why you running around having conversations with everybody else instead of going to her, and you done seen Timber on more than one occasion? Cut it out. Okay. So anyway, Latrice, let's get to Marie's birthday party. So her mom shows up, of course. Her mom says how proud of her she is. What else? Marie is opening up a opioid or opiate type of clinic that's going to be able to help her mother and other women or other people, shall I say, in the same situation as her mom. Right. So Latrice shows up and Marie gives her a hug. She's like, oh my God, look at you, girl. Give me a hug. Oh my God, you look so pretty, girl. Oh, and I'm just sitting up here like, I'm looking at everybody else like, girl, what the hell is this? So is she about to get her? Is she about to give her the apology now or later? What was it? Girl, I'm like, did they already have the talk and we done missed it? Because what's going on here? All right. So Cedric decided he finna show up. I'm like, girl, now what the fuck is going on now? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like, I think it was Latrice or somebody that was feeling the same way as me. Like, okay, maybe it was Tisha. Like, what the, okay, girl, now listen, y'all hitting us with too much. Like, what the fuck is going on? At this point, girl, Cedric then came in there and sung for his life. Talking about some damn happy birthday. Happy like, just he over there just singing it down. I said, baby, he over here singing his life, singing for his life to get this damn Rolex. Do you hear me? I said, you better sing it, Cedric. Okay, because if she gonna buy it, you gonna get it. Okay, so go ahead and sing for it, dear. Girl, it was a mess. So Tamra asked the ladies why they did not go to Akeisha's event for her baby. Marie says that she had a prior engagement. Tisha says her hamster died. Sophia says that she had a prior engagement and calls Akeisha corny. Sophia, come to the front and have a seat down below. Come to the front and have a seat down below. Ma'am, you have the audacity to call Akeisha corny? Ma'am, when you're walking around as a 40-plus-year-old woman, calling your damn self so Gucci. No, ma'am. Not your big grown as calling yourself so Gucci when ain't nothing wrong with your name, Sophia. Beautiful name. But you want to be called so Gucci. And you want to sit up here and talk about somebody being corny. That's the most corniest shit you could do. Okay? Girl, I can't. Girl, not her saying she's so Gucci out there in Mississippi, girl. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You will not be coming from Miss Akeisha now. Now, you might be cute, but you're not going to play my girl like that. No, ma'am. So with that being said, you know who's corny. Let's keep going. All right. So Tisha didn't like that. Akeisha called people ugly. And I'm like, when did she say this? Come to find out, Timber is saying that Akeisha called these people ugly. Was she calling them actually physically ugly? Or was she referring to their attitudes being ugly? Or was she referring to a situation that they were involved in being ugly and you mistranslated the information? Because I would love to see that playback or that rollback or text messages or something where this lady referred to them as ugly. And if you did refer to them as ugly, I think that's rude and disrespectful as hell. The audacity of you. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not going to be beautiful to everybody. And it's just what it is. Some of us, it's just going to be ugly to other folks. Okay, but you ain't have to call them that. But I would love to know if it was actually misinterpreted by Miss Dear Old Heart Tambra, honey. But it's okay, Tambra, because you got that work coming to you in just a second, okay? All right. So Tisha says that Akeisha thinks she's better than everyone. No, she don't. But you just mad that you think that she's better than you. Let's be very clear about that. Very clear about that. That's what it is that you're giving. You got to be around other women that you feel like you higher than. Okay, outside of Marie. And probably why you be over there catering to Miss Marie. But now that Akeisha came around, you over here bothered because she actually has connections and actually gonna be able to make some things move more than what you are. I don't understand that. Like, I don't get it. And y'all just made up at dinner, and then here you are over here trying to bash the lady. But I guess so. Then Marie gonna sit up here and say something like, I mean, like, she cool or whatever, but she do come off a little shady. And I'm sitting over here like, BIT, I know you're not talking about nobody coming off shady. Okay? I know you're not talking about nobody coming off no kind of way when you come off always. That's what it is. But what you're really giving is you trying to side with your good girl Tisha. That's what it really is. Okay? But at the same time, as I reflected, I think maybe Marie and Akeisha got an issue, because if Marie is feeling a way about Akeisha, I guess I can't be too mad, because Akeisha damn sure feeling a way about her. She don't want none of that get on this attached to whatever type of business she finna do over there on Ferry Street. Yikes, honey. Sorry, girl, let me scoot on about my business. So Tisha tells Tambra about Tysha and Damon. Tysha says she tells Tambra that she can't defend her if she not being honest. That's what pissed me the fuck off. Tisha, you be honest. Be honest about this storyline that you got while you sit over here telling this lady that she needs to be honest, and you're not believing everything that Miss Tambra over here saying. And I didn't like that. I said, but how is she being honest? You're the one that's insinuated that she's lying and that your friend is not. So I guess because you've known your friend for so many years, your friend isn't lying about this particular situation. And granted, she could not be lying, right? But why would that make Tambra a liar herself if your friend ain't lying? That makes no sense. That could be that she is oblivious, or she does not know what's really happening based on what her dude is telling her. Like, girl, go home to Glenn and figure out your own damn life while you're trying to figure out somebody else's relationship. So Tambra knows the woman to be good friends with her man, and that they haven't talked in months. She said that she looked through the text messages, I guess, when they got into it or whatever. And I'm like, why would they need to get into it? I don't know, but okay. And so she said when she looked through the text messages, she didn't see anything. She said she went all through the text messages. But what it also makes me think, and now as I'm talking about it with you guys and I'm thinking about it now, maybe this is what Tisha was referring to about her not being honest. If you go in a man's phone and he shows you, like, babe, look what she just sent me, and you see that one message, based on that one message, in my opinion, something must have been said in that one message that made you want to scroll to see if there was anything else, because why would she need to go off on you in this manner? What else was being said? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's her man. That friend ain't her friend. So she's going to trust the word of her man more than somebody else that she don't really know for real, like that. But we're going to find out, girl. We're going to get to the bottom of it, honey, okay? So what else happened? She says that she looked through the text messages, talked about that. So then Tambra says that Akeisha referenced that it may be a recent situation. And I'm like, that lady ain't really do that. She said she did not know. Maybe if you want to call that a reference, but she wasn't saying that it was recent. She said she didn't know if this could be a recent thing or not. She just wanted to clue you in on the details. And I'm like, don't put that SHI on Akeisha, okay? She said she know. So Tisha says that if she learned something, and if she told someone else, she said, you gotta know that I'm gonna tell you too. Yeah, but it took you a minute for you to tell her though. And I'm like, Tisha, just shut up, girl. And I'm like, I'm not liking her this season. Tambra says that she told Akeisha the situation. Oh, she said, I told her that, we talked or whatever like that, and that you ain't bring it up to me. So the fact that you didn't bring it up to me, I said, oh, it must not be that important, because if it was, Tisha would have said something, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, girl, so do you think it's important now? Because Tisha done pulled your ass to the side and she's having a conversation with your stupid ass now. So is it important now? It was always important. She just delayed on telling you, but you could tell yourself whatever excuses you need to tell yourself. So Tisha starts talking about wanting to have kids and be married. Tambra talks with, so she started talking about, no, I think Tisha. Yeah, I think Tisha asked Tambra about having kids, being married, whatever the case was, whatever. At the end of the day, once they wrapped up their conversation, Tisha was not believing 100% everything that Tambra said. Okay, and we'll get into the tweets. Tambra talks with Damon and about Tisha when she goes to visit her grandma's spot, right? He starts to deflect and talk about it in the confessional, because the question was like, we heard that you did this or that with, Tisha. Is there anything going on or whatever? And then he tried to say that somebody was laughing about it. So it was like you just found any little thing in the room at that moment to say that a person was laughing about it so that you could deflect. You found any little thing you could just to say something and deflect from the conversation and say next question because you don't want to address it. Now, it could be that something is happening and you don't want to address it, or it could be that this lady that is on some fake shit, trying to be on some extra shit, and you ain't even trying to bring it to the show because you know how messy she could be. It could be two ways. We just got to find out and figure it out. But it would have been better if you would have addressed it. Don't give us Marcel, because when you ain't trying to be clear about it, we're gonna a lot of people gonna assume what they want to assume, believe what they want to believe. So you come out better just saying what it is, okay? All right, go ahead and put it out there so y'all can move on. But let's go ahead and get real quick into these messages over here on Twitter. All right, so here is one of them. Okay, so somebody put this tweet out. It says sometimes it's just better to mind your business. So Tambra responds and says, always, you will never hear me speak on anyone's relationship. But when you're happy, you love to see other people happy. You want the best for everyone. It's a lifestyle. That's real empowerment. And I feel like when she said that's real empowerment, that was her taking a shot at Miss Tisha. So Tisha says, what exactly are you saying here? And then she also got in the comments again and told, Tambra, she needs to explain this. Yikes. So then the other part, okay, somebody says, Tambra, you exude nothing but class. Please don't allow messy Tisha to interfere in the home of you and Damon, or that you and Damon are building. I really have a problem with the way she's moving this season. I'm glad somebody else said it, Victoria, because I felt the same way. Okay, so Tambra says, thank you. One thing you will not see me do is speak on anyone's relationship. Relationships are between the people in it. I will never judge what she has going on because it's not my business. I love to see people happy and prospering, and I want that for her too. Okay, girl, listen, she has some things to get off her chest. Somebody else says, come with receipts and facts, because Tambra and the Midday Diva tribe only listen to the facts. And then Tambra says she gave my friend a fake invoice from a fake company, so I can't even trust her receipts though. Yikes. So when she said that, I was believing that she was talking about the other lady, the decorator, whoever that woman is. So maybe that's the woman that gave somebody a fake invoice for a fake company, so she can't trust her. Oh, girl, that right there is a bit messy. I don't think she's talking about Tisha, because Tisha got a company too. So maybe she's talking about the other lady. But let's get to the next part. So Tisha says, now when I start talking, people are going to ask me to stop. I speak and get facts, and my character always speaks for itself. But Tisha, you really didn't get facts to me. You really didn't get facts. You really took hearsay and you ran with it. So we would like to see the facts. Either you could bring it up later in the season, or you could go ahead and bring it up at the reunion. Whichever way you want to, just bring the facts, because we would love to see it. Okay. So then, oh no, I think that's the other part. Yeah, we'll get into that. So that's Dr. Heavenly or whatever. But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that to y'all real quick, and let y'all see what the ladies were over there saying over there on the Twitter. Now, when Tisha asked Tambra to explain herself, Tambra never said anything else. So we'll see what's gonna happen between them. But either way, good luck. Let's go ahead and move on, because we do need to get over to Married to Medicine. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Okay. So Anila tells her husband about Toya clowning Eugene and his ping. All right. And then also tells her husband how Toya said she would swap husbands with her. Okay. So they had that conversation. And I'm just thinking to myself, cringing, like, Toya, you have got to stop saying these sideways things about your husband, because it definitely gives other people room to feel like they could disrespect him in the same way. Now, granted, people gonna disrespect and do what they want to do anyway. But sometimes when you give them enough ammunition, they're gonna use that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want him to get in an argument and somebody say, that's why your wife said your dick small. Like, nobody wants to hear that, because you gave them some ammo to use against your man. Like, no, ma'am. Okay. Anyway, so Kieran wants to set rules for Anila's a disrespectful ass parents, as he should. And when her parents get to the house, what pissed me off was the mama felt the way about the rules that he was giving her. She want to rip the damn rules up, ball them up, put them in the trash, feeling like he can't tell her nothing. And I said the audacity, because everything that he got on his list is general that you should do when you come to somebody's house. So I didn't really see him asking for a whole lot. He was just asking for general manners that you should have anyway. See, that's why, girl, I couldn't. She couldn't be my mother. She couldn't be my mom. I'm sorry, because I would have to check her every step of the way. Like, I just cannot, especially if you ain't paying no bills in this house and my husband primarily paying them. Nah, you're not finna come in here and run them up. You're going to come in here and sit down. Sit down, behave. Sit down, okay? I'm already letting you live in this lavish, luxurious home for free. Why, you okay? For the limited time only. Don't come in here. Don't come in here and show your ass, girl. All right? So anyway, let's move on. Heavenly and Jackie. Heavenly is going into menopause. Jackie says that she gonna get her an O shot. She gonna do an O shot party for all of the ladies. Okay, that's where they take your blood, swing it around. Okay, girl, do a little ring around the rosy or whatever like that. Pocket full of posies, ashes. They all fall down, girl. Whatever they gonna be over there doing on the merry-go-round, they gonna spin it and then they gonna turn around. And they gonna inject it. Okay, into the cootie tois. All right. Now, Heavenly ends up speaking on her mom being extremely sick. So you know this is affecting Heavenly. Heavenly is a person that doesn't like to show much emotion at all. If she does show emotion, it's emotion of laughing and lashing out at other people. Okay. But as far as her getting emotional, being a teary-eyed person, we don't really see that. Heavenly doesn't really like to show that vulnerable side of her for real. And she kind of admitted to that in the last episode. Okay. She said her mom's health is declining really bad. I believe she has to now think about hospice. All right, coming in and handling that. And usually when a person get hospice, that means your parent, or that's that, I ain't gonna say parent, but that person doesn't have much longer. Okay. When hospice is coming into the picture. And I just really hate that for her. She going through that situation. Like, that's a lot. I don't know what that feels like. I don't want to ever know what it feels like, but I know that's a lot to deal with at this time. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she's battling keeping her mama here, knowing that her mother can't eat without a feeding tube or breathe on her own. She's keeping her mama here for her own selfish reasons, knowing that her mom laying in this bed is not who she is or has been to her for all these years. So it's technically like she's gone already. So do I want to pull it? Do I not want to pull it? I don't want to be that, person to do that. So I know she got a lot going on in her head, and I really hate that for Heavenly. So Anila's parents, okay? Anila parent, we talked about them, girl. They need to go on about their business. Simone, Heavenly, the husbands, okay? So they come to the house. Dr. Damon and Heavenly that came to Simone house. So they thinking, y'all, that they finna really be giving some advice. Next thing you know, we see Contessa and her husband walking the building. And girl, this ain't no advice session. And I'm like, here y'all go. Y'all about to ambush Heavenly yet again, girl. Y'all about to ambush this lady yet again, okay? So they done popped up. Contessa and her husband was over there speaking about, like, everybody was kind of talking about how they met, I believe. Eugene and Simone, not Eugene, but Simone and C. So I think they could have lived. She said they were neighbors or something. I thought they met in college. Guess they were neighbors, whatever. The Scotts, they met when he was coming out of school as a doctor and she was going into her first year as a doctor. But because she was in the military, things was going to be paid off. I don't know if he was in the military or if he ended up marrying her and maybe the military took care of his debt as well. But either way, when they got in their 30s, girl, it wasn't no debt well. A lot of people went into the military to get that taken care of, and I don't even fault y'all, okay? But let's keep going. So not Damon, but Dr. Damon. Dr. Damon decided he wanted to talk about how women are in relationships. And Contessa thought that he was talking about her wife or their interactions. And he was like, I'm not even talking about that. Okay. I'm trying to explain to y'all why I don't open up and share information with y'all, right? Because y'all, when y'all learn stuff about each other, y'all like to take those things and y'all like to throw them in each other's face. And I don't want any parts of that, right? So that's what it sounds like he was trying to say. That's why I don't tell the men a lot of stuff, because I don't want to get into it. They come back, pillow talk with their wife, and then take the information and throw it up in my wife's face. Like, I don't want to do that, so that's why they don't really share a lot. And that's one thing y'all already knew though about Heavenly. Heavenly can talk about everybody else stuff, but she don't want nobody talking about hers. So that's just what it is, okay? So she don't say anything. And some part of me don't really like, some part of me feels like I don't fault Heavenly for that, because if I'm cool with people, sometimes I may see how they move and I might reserve my information, because if you sharing this or that with me, then what the fuck you gonna say about, you know what I'm saying? So I might be reserved with that. But at the same time, because y'all are on this reality show and you can use their information as ammunition against them, then hey, you might as well just go and share your tea so it can be fair game at this point. At least that's what it is that I'm thinking. Okay. So then Damon says, so a contestant jumps in when Damon is talking. Then Damon says he is talking about women in general. Okay. They like to use information against each other. Damon is telling Heavenly to chill out because she's starting to have an exchange of words with Contessa. And Damon says that he always asks her to stop and she doesn't. And I said, okay, now we learning the problem. Girl, I was feeling like Miss Simone when Simone went over there and took a sip of her drink or whatever. I said, ooh. Okay. So basically he says, the fact that I keep telling you to stop shows a sign of lack of respect or something like that. And I said, oh wow, Damon is letting us know some things. She don't listen to him, therefore she doesn't respect him. And it doesn't mean she doesn't respect her husband or her marriage as a whole, but at certain times she has lack of respect for him when he tells her stuff, okay, for her own good. But let's keep going. Heavenly don't like to be checked at all. Even when Buddy was trying to tell her something when they was in the bedroom and she was talking about Contessa, she started crying. He pretty much told her she could do too much. She changed the subject, like, let's go into the closet and find our clothes. Like, she don't like to be checked. Okay. So Damon calls it BS. He said, I'm gonna be honest, I really hate that you and my wife are going through this BS. And Contessa gonna say it's not BS. And I'm like, well, Contessa, what the fuck is it? Because you ain't got no other storyline right now. So obviously it is bullshit. For real, for real. It's something that y'all can make up from. Okay, that y'all have already made up from. And one of the two of y'all, primarily you, is keeping it going. So it's just like, girl, either you forgive the lady or you don't. All right. Now, granted, she gonna do it again, though, girl. So I feel you. But at the same time, it's like, girl, it is BS, in my opinion. So Heavenly gets upset with Contessa. And I'm sitting over here because you feel like Contessa not listening to your man. And I'm like, Heavenly, but you ain't even listening to your man. So why are you trying to check Contessa? Check yourself. And your husband's trying to check you too. Okay? Ain't nobody right. So then Contessa thinks he was taking Heavenly's side. And I'm like, he wasn't taking Heavenly's side at all, in my opinion. He was calling both of y'all out. Period. That's what that was. Okay. He was calling both of y'all out. So then Damon, at this point, when Contessa got loud, I liked how he said he started dapping people up like, yup, that's my cue. I ain't even for disrespect nobody else's wife, not for the disrespect myself. I already know how Heavenly can be. She gonna keep going and she gonna keep going. And I'm just gonna go ahead and head out. Okay. So Heavenly complains in the confessional to say that, we might forgive, but we never ever forget when a person snakes you in front of everyone. I said, BIT, not you talking about snaking somebody in front of everyone when you be down here to the YouTube snaking your own cast members in front of the entire world. At least all of the people that's watching. And I'm sure it's people from different parts of the world. Are you serious? No, that's wrong. Pop, pop. As entertaining as you are, no, ma'am. That is not cool, girl. So Heavenly, what else? Heavenly, you say that based on the intervention. Let me go. Yeah, I say Heavenly, you say that based on the intervention. Yeah, I pretty much mentioned that. Anyway, so Damon tells Heavenly how tired he is of her antics in so many words, and says she can change her part in the madness because it's always drama when they go around friends, and it always involves her. Yikes. Okay. Now there's that. I was glad, Daddy kind of put his foot down, but he became a softie when they got in the car and rolled off and said, I'm sorry, buddy. You didn't mean to yell at you. Sorry, I lied to you, Maureen. I just didn't want to go to Arizona. Like, that's what it was giving, girl. So Jackie does this old shop party. Anila decides she's gonna bring her damn mama for whatever reason. What else happened? Heavenly couldn't go because she had to sign the papers, the hospice papers or whatever, or do not resuscitate papers or whatnot. So she's going through a lot right now. Okay. Toya asking Anila about her and Contessa. Okay. Asking her about her. Toya asking Anila about Heavenly and Contessa. Like, did you hear about them? Contessa comes over to share thoughts. Okay. Because Toya pretty much said, I heard this happened, that happened, that happened. Contessa said, yes, all of that happened, And here's the thing. As she got ready to say that, Quad walks over. Quad, why do you always be on 10 all the time? You be on 10 majority of the time. And I don't know if maybe it's how they edit it, but everybody's having a cool, calm conversation and you jump in and all aggressive talking about Heavenly and her mama passing away. Basically trying to say, y'all need to dead. And what I took from it, y'all need to dead this conversation because Heavenly her mother is on the death table. Her mom is about to die. And it's like, you could say that without being so harsh. Like, you could say that without being so aggressive, girl. You act like Heavenly is here and I'm trying to swing at her. Like, calm down. Like, you're doing too much. Okay. So I just feel like, Quad, I don't know what it be, but girl, you always be trying to hop down people's throat. Like, girl, like, I need you to ease back. Stop coming off so strong, girl. Scoot back just a second. Okay, it's a way to have those conversations and get through to those ladies, all right, without doing all of that. But anyway, let's keep going. So Anila, Jackie, after that, first of all of the ladies prayed. Contessa prayed for her mom, prayed for Heavenly. All of that. It doesn't matter because none of that means anything now because the ladies went at war with each other over there on the Twitter. Okay. I don't have all those tweets, so we'll get into that at a later time. But Jackie decides that she was going to take each lady and they were going to do the little O shy. When it came to Anila, Anila wouldn't do it because her mama felt as though she shouldn't do it. And I said, you a bald headed. Girl, I wish my mama would come in and tell me what I can and can't do when it comes to an OSHA. She could suggest, but she can't tell. Okay, so for her mama to say no, she's not doing it. I said, you know what, Anila? Number one, that's some crazy ass shit. Number two, I also feel like you really did not want to do it, honestly, but you brought your mom to make sure that she was the one to say, no, you don't need to do it. So you could put the blame off on your mama because you truly did not want to participate, even though you told Jackie that you would get up with her later. So I'm like, would you really get up with her later? Would you really? I don't know. I feel like a dealer didn't want that no way. And that's fine if you didn't, but you could have just said no on your own instead of your mom saying it for you. Talking about some she won't let me. Girl, you sound like a fool. But anyway, girl, I don't like that dynamic of the relationship. Your mama just be coming in there running them up. Girl, sooner or later, y'all both gonna be living in little tents and cots or whatever y'all can't afford because your mama gonna run your husband off. Okay, well, her mother antics too, girl. But I can't. Anyway, y'all, that's all that I got over here on Married to Medicine, girl. Let's go ahead and switch over and let's get into Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, girl, I thought I heard my niece and nephew. Anyway, girl, if you hear some kids talking in the back, baby, they're my niece and nephew. I know they finna come over here when they get out of school, but anyway. So let's keep going. So Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Marlo is getting ready to get her nephews back. Okay. I still hate that she really expects her sister to instill structure. She gets on a call with her sister and asks her, like, oh, so how was structure? Did you give them structure? Like, how was it? How were the boys? This and that. And it's like, even if she did instill structure in their life, it's not gonna matter because it's only going to matter to her, right? Between them and her, in my opinion. I feel like those boys, if she gave them any type of structure, they're going to have a newfound of respect for her, which does not mean that they're going to have a newfound respect for you because you were the one that did not give the structure. Does that make sense? Okay, that's like a kid going to their daddy house or something and they know, like, I can do whatever I want to do over here, but when they come to their mama house, they know it's X, Y, Z, A, B, C. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like they may have a different respect for their mama stuff than they do for their daddy. So yeah, but let's go ahead and keep going. Anyway, so Drew is still out of the count because y'all know she messed up her Achilles. I believe she had to have surgery for that. So Sheree ended up stopping by, which I thought was really nice. I was not expecting that at all. So I was like, look at Sheree. It made me a bit happy in the moment because I felt like, if they really took the time out to get to know each other, I feel like they really would like each other. Like, for real, for real. I think they really would get along. But it is what it is, child. Sonya also decided she was going to stop by as well. Okay. That was another surprise because, her and Drew have been on and off. So they both stopped by, checked on Drew. All was well. Of course, they talked about the trip to Jamaica and how Kenya and Sonya was getting into it back and forth, right? Well, Sheree also went on to tell Sonya that Kenya felt as though her husband was aggressive, intimidating, doing too much. So Sonya didn't like that at all. So Sonya said, I'm going to give her a call. She gives Kenya a call. Kenya, like, number one, the way Kenya answered the phone, like, is everything okay? It's either two things. One, it was late as hell at night when this call was made, or two, y'all don't even talk like that at all. So for her to hit you up, it must be a serious situation that's happening, is what she thinking. And come to find out, it's not. Sonya called this lady, woke this lady up out her sleep to let her know, yeah, Sheree told me that you said some shit about my husband, and I just really want to know what it is that you said. Okay, did you say this? Did you say that? King said, oh, and then Sonya said, cat got your tongue, cat got your tongue. And I was kind of like, Sonya, don't be trying to act bold now. Don't be trying to act bold with Kenya now. I don't like that energy that you're trying to give out over the phone. But when y'all was in person, even yourself said that you couldn't really take her. Okay. And how Kenya ate you up. Like, girl, you really not prepared while you trying to rush and have this phone call, man. So I ain't really like that at all. But Anyway, Kenya said, girl, listen, honey, I'm asleep. I don't even remember what the hell I said, girl. My brain cells are still trying to come together at this moment. So let me give you a call back when I get up, okay? And there's that. All right. Sonya felt as though Kenya is just mad that she doesn't have what she has. Okay. You ain't got no man to stand up there and defend you in XYZ. And I understand her feeling that way. Like, you ain't got no man to defend you. So that's why you over here tripping, this, that, and the other. And maybe that's why you can't relate. Right. So, yes, I definitely understand Sonya on that. But then also at the same time, Sonya says that Kenya needs to keep her husband's name out her motherfucking mouth. And I just feel like, well, if that's the case, your husband don't need to be standing up at no table telling no woman XYZ ABC. So if he could stand up on this woman and tell her to shut the or whatever he said, like don't fuck with my wife or whatever, then if he can do that, then she also can discuss him with somebody else. So that's just what it is. So what's going on? Let's go ahead and keep going. Okay. So Kenya and Sheree. So Sheree is getting ready for this damn She Buy Not Gonna Happen event. She Buy never gonna put it on the website. She Buy never gonna put it on a shirt, except for a fashion experience, girl, because it's not a show. Mm, right? She Buy not selling out. She Buy not selling a damn thing. She full of shit. Girl, so Miss Sheree, and it's crazy because I really do want Sheree to win, y'all. Like, I do like Sheree for the most part. I don't like some of her antics when she get with Marlo, for real, but I do like Sheree, and I do want her to do something with this She By Sheree line. Like, please do something, because I'm tired of being a part of the She By Not Gonna Happen, you know? And it's like, girl, we have came all the way out of a pandemic. Let us step into some She By Sheree attire. Like, come on, get it together, okay? So anyway, let's keep going. So while Kenya is at this, I guess, auditioning for models for Sheree's experience, Kenya sees Kenya feels like she needs to go big or go home, basically. Okay. This should be better than what it is. All right. And the assistant is giving Kenya pushback. Assistant was a bit funny, girl. Assistant was not trying to be here. She wasn't trying to hear Kenya on that she was saying. I felt the assistant a bit, because it's like, girl, this is me. Like, she hired me to do this. She didn't hire you. You over here overstepping your boundaries. Okay. And just because you see this scarf around my head, girl, don't mean I won't get with you. Okay. Because I will get with you. But the assistant tells Sheree, like, because Kenya is hyping her up to have some actual like good models. And so she tells her, like, to get some models, it's gonna run you to, $250 to $500. Like, we really can do that. Here goes Sheree with the excuses, girl. I mean, we can't do that. Like, nah, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to do all that. So it sounds like you want to get people to work for you for free, and you just want to be able to say, allow them to put on their resume that they walked for She By Sheree or Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, that's what it's giving. But okay, however you finesse it, girl, finesse it. So what she said, she told me she spent $1 million already. And I said, you mean the course over these 10 years or however long it's been? Or over 10 years? Is that what you mean? That's how much you spend? Because we know you didn't spend about $1 million now. This, within this year. We know those are lies for sure. So you mean to tell me over the course of a few years, you spent a little bit? Probably so. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's what she said. So Kenya pretty much started taking over this lady's audition. Okay. One of the girls did a good job. Kenya wanted to know where her contact information was. Kenya wanted the girl to write it on the back of the headshot. The assistant is like, no, I already have all of their information. And then Kenya's like, no, but how are we going to get in touch with you? Write it down. And it's funny because the girl did exactly what Kenya said versus doing what it is the person that brought her there said. Hilarious. And the lady was upset. She says, the lady said, well, go ahead and write it down. I guess if that makes her happy. Kenya said, it does make me happy. Thank you. She said, confetti. Kenya said, like, girl, it was giving Marlo and Sheree when they was like, like, that's what I was thinking of when they were going back and forth. But I actually loved it. Okay, because the lady was definitely giving Kenya pushback. And when I saw this, I said, Kenya is for real deal crazy, girl. She don't give a fuck who you is. This lady do not care who you are. Okay, she will get you together at any moment. Noted. Okay, so what else happened? Kenya tells her, so Kenya tells the lady, like, listen, she says, this is unacceptable. She says this should be top notch in so many words when it comes to the show and when it comes to the models. And the lady says, well, this isn't my first rodeo. Like, I got that. And then Kenya said, yeah, but it seems like it is your first rodeo. I said, this lady disrespectful as hell, girl. Kenya disrespectful as hell. But let's go ahead and keep going. All right. So Ralph has this photo shoot. And at this photo shoot, he talks about not wanting to adopt Josiah. And Drew doesn't like this, and nor does her mom like this. He says that he took it off the table because when he was going to do it, he had a conversation with JoJo's dad. His dad wasn't happy. He said that it hurt him, and he really just wants the opportunity to actually be a dad. He gets if he wants to adopt him because he's really the only dad that he knows, and he's been there from the beginning, right? He understands that, but he just wants his opportunity to be a dad. And so he says that he's been inviting him out to stuff, and it seems like he's coming around to like being a better dad to JoJo. And what I don't understand is why the ladies are trying to force him into a position of adopting this little boy. And I'm like, I don't think that's how they should go. I don't like that necessarily. I don't know what all they lose, like I don't know what rights the dad lose or how that works, like his biological dad. I don't know, but I don't think that's fair. I feel like if it's not broke, you ain't gotta fix it. Like JoJo is comfortable in the position that he is to him. I don't think it really matters to JoJo whether he's adopted or not, as long as Ralph stays in the position of being his dad. He's slowly getting to know his other dad. So you want Ralph to adopt him and then allow his dad to slowly come. I don't know. That's like confusing. Like I don't. I mean, unless since Ralph is there all the time, you want Ralph to adopt the son so that he can have the say so. He'll have rights to the child and have the say so on what happens with Josiah. That may be ultimately what they want when they want him to adopt the Josiah. And maybe that does make sense if Ralph is the more stable parent than his actual dad. But if you're gonna take the little boy away from his dad altogether and not give him the opportunity to at least try, and it sounds like he wants to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they was applying a bit too much pressure, and it sounds like it's something that Drew and her mom has always wanted, and Ralph was just going along. It doesn't sound like it was something Ralph always wanted from the beginning. It sounded like it was something that was being pushed off on him that they want. So I mean, I don't know. It's still coming off like that. I don't fully disagree, and maybe because I don't have a full understanding of it. But you guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's go ahead and move on. Drew and Sheree. I guess they're about to do this birthday party for Kenya and Marlo. They both February Aquarius babies, right around the corner from each other. Okay, so Sheree says she's been stressed out about Sheba not happening, and so when Drew was like, "Girl, like you ain't really been here, you ain't really been pitching or doing anything. I really need you to step it up tonight or whatever." That's when Sheree says she's busy or whatever, and then Sheree says something like, "Well, since I didn't contribute a lot of my thoughts on the birthday function or whatever, then I guess I'll just pay a fourth of the bill instead of paying half of the bill." And I feel like that's effed up, because if you signed up to do something, you should have continued to play your motherfucking part regardless of what you had going on. You already knew you had Sheba Sheree going on. If you knew that you could not handle it, then you should have slid out of it and maybe passed it over to Kandi. Maybe Kandi and Drew could have did this together instead of you and her. All right. So you was kind of wrong in my opinion. And then now you want to skip out on the bill at the last minute, and you want people to sit up here and have some type of sympathy for you and what you got going on when it comes to your event. Girl, no ma'am. Okay. So I feel like that was fucked up. But anyway, she done sat up there and got on the call with somebody about her products, trying to see if they ready. Come to find out they ain't even ready. And it sounds like to me, you must have hit this person up at the last minute, because it sounds like a last minute ass fashion show and last minute everything, last minute models, everything is last minute. It seems like you tried to plan this show 3 weeks out and just want it all to come together. No, ma'am. It sounds very bad, very poor. Girl, and if you ain't got no products for your fashion show, we know you're not gonna have no products at the end of the season. While you telling people to get their coins and stuff ready? Girl, it's giving drop shipping. But let's keep going. So Kenya and Marlo walked into a surprise. Okay, her cousin gets up to do a speech, and this is Marlo's cousin, because she came, her best friend, whatever, came to the speech. And it sounds like she was about to make her speech about Kenya. And I said, girl, where are we going with this? But of course, she tells Marlo all the time, don't argue with Kenya. Basically, the cousin really likes Kenya. Okay, tells her, don't argue with Kenya. And now it's both of y'all birthdays, so happy birthday to you, ladies. Whatever, it was what it was. Okay, Drew tells them that they don't want to see them fight anymore. They tired of it. Let's move to a better place. Okay. Kenya is confused because she's like, girl, is this a birthday party or is this an intervention? And I said, girl, it's definitely giving intervention. 1000% giving intervention and less giving birthday for sure. So Kenya calls Marlo out for constantly calling her a liar because Kenya was trying to say, listen, I ain't got no issue with this bitty body boo. I ain't got no issues with this. Okay. It's just that, she would say some slick ass and talk about my mama not wanting me and this and that. And then Marlo says, let's not go back 6 years ago or whatever. And I'm like, you're right, Marlo. Let's not, because you've said even worse shit more sooner than that. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about that stuff that you've said. So anyway, since you don't want to go that far back, let's go back to earlier this season because you still said some stuff. But anyway, so Kenya says, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. You don't want to go that far back, girl, but let's talk about here's the main issue. You keep calling me a motherfucking liar when I ain't got nothing to lie about, when you the biggest liar of them all. Let's be very clear about that, girl. Okay, so there's that. Marlo talks about how Kenya has hurt her to her core, and I'm cackling because I'm thinking about me. You hurt me to my core, and everybody else is like, "Oh, girl." Like everybody else is like, "Marlo, okay, you acted now, girl. You acted." If you could tell the reactions from the other ladies, right? She knows she's the worst with words. Kenya and Marlo really got nowhere with their conversation at all. But Drew did decide to play a game. And the game was, so she asked, how would you respond if someone accused your husband of being aggressive? So Sonia answers and says, BIT, you wish you had a man like that. Okay. Yikes. But Kenya couldn't do nothing but laugh. I guess she wasn't in the mood to clap off on her ass in that minute. Right. So then the question becomes, when you hosting a party for a friend and they offered to pay half the bill, or you're hosting a party with a friend, they offered to pay half the bill, but then they decide to dish out on it. What do you think? Like if they decide not to contribute. Candy said, call their ass out. And this is when Sheree says yet again, I've been spending too much money. I've been doing too much with She About Sheree. And then proceeds to hand out these invitations that looked very nice, might I add. I said, oh, those are some nice invitations. Okay. Very cute. Very cute. But Candy in the confessional, like, BIT, you spending all this money on these invitations, but when we ask you about your products, you ain't got none of the products. Whew, girl, and I think that the fashion show was coming up in like a few days or within a week or so. Girl, there's some messy shit there. Okay. And she got about 100 people attending. Girl, for inexperience, you should have only had about 50. It should have been real exclusive, girl. You should not have 100 people, but okay. So anyway, we see where Sheree at a later time links up with Apollo. And she calls him and asks him about being a part of the fashion show, which he does agree to do. Okay. He's going to do that. I feel like him coming onto the show, I feel like Phaedra may have known this because Sheree and Phaedra are really cool. And Sheree even suggested for this new season, Phaedra to come back to the show, but she said that it sounded like Bravo wasn't really trying to bite on that particular idea. But then they ended up putting her on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Ex-Wives Club. Okay, so they did kind of work with her. Still, they just weren't going to bring her back to the show. And we all know because of Miss Candy Burruss, Candy said she'll leave. Right. But anyway, when it comes to, Apollo, I feel like Phaedra may have known about that. It was like, girl, yeah, let him be a model, let him be whatever. But I feel like Phaedra did not show up to the fashion show. Not sure. Anyway, so Apollo goes on a rant about Phaedra and how she hurt him and how she left him for dead and all this other stuff. And it's like, I feel like she should have left you for dead because you were jeopardizing her and them kids. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You did wrong, so she got the hell on. It's just that simple. All right. And then this was the other gag for me. Y'all gave Apollo a confessional. I said, not y'all giving Apollo a confessional, girl. Not him giving a confessional. Not y'all sit up here letting them let him and whoever speak on Phaedra, and Phaedra not there to defend herself at all. Ow, okay. So Sheree talks with him about Tyrone and how Tyrone ended up switching up on her after he ended up getting out of jail, out of prison or whatever like that. And Apollo pretty much keeps it real with her and just tells her, listen, when them guys be in the slammer, everybody be running game. That's just what it's about. Everybody be up there running the game, trying to see what they can get out of these women or whatever. And then as soon as they get out, they be on a whole nother wavelength. They be on some other okay. And you over there feeling like your heart just fell out your chest because these dudes was pretty much feeding you lies the entire time. So he saw what Tyrone was doing from a mile away, and just called it out. And I'm just sitting over here wondering to myself, Apollo, is that what you were doing with the other woman that you were seeing? The woman that was bragging all on the Instagram that she was with you while you was in prison, the one that y'all brought onto the show, but Candy didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I'm just wondering, are y'all still together? Because you gave her a little bit of hope when you came out, but I'm just wondering where the relationship stands, at this point. Just wondering. Okay, just let me know something. But listen, guys, I just gave you all the review on all four of the shows. That's really all that I have for today. I want you guys to go ahead and hop down in the comments. Let me know your overall thoughts and how you felt about all of the episodes, honey. I'm Jamie. That's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamie. That's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.